Yo, what's good, everybody? We're back here at Culture Core Academy, and yo, holy shit, man. We're here to talk about episode 4 of Loki.
Yeah, we had a few words about episode 3 being a little tamer than the first two, but they quickly bounced right back with this episode.
They really did.
My God,
they really did. It's almost as if like they knew, like, oh, we know they're gonna be talking about us after episode 3, but no, we got something for them. The writers for this episode had their foot on the gas like Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious movie.
Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Like it was crazy. So many happenings, so much action, so many questions still abound, and we're here to talk about all of that and then some for this next episode recap. So before we get into all the rest of these OMG moments, all of the spoilers and the theories and whatnot, we got to take some time to first do what you know you need to do.
Right? Yeah, and that is go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Get your rated comment on this video when you hear our opinions, because we are going to have some strong ones this go round. First up, we got the opening scene. I didn't know we'd get right to it. I thought it'd be like a sort of flashback type deal in a different point in the episode, but no, we drop right in. Nope. And we have Slylvie being picked up by the TVA, but specifically by Renslayer as Agent A23 before she made her promotion to judge. Yep. She was simply just another time hunter.
Yeah, just another time hunter, just an agent doing their business. And the business this time was, I mean,
kidnapping kids,
snatching up a child, Slylvie. Like, yo, Slylvie was just playing in her room, in her little Asgardian room, and she just got straight jacked.
Yeah. We saw Fenris Wolf and the toys. We saw what could be the Dragon of Muspelheim from the toys. And we see quickly with this child somehow, Caleb, we want to do it twice this time. We said it once this time, but we're going to have to say it twice this time because we don't think y'all listen.
Because we do. We don't think y'all are listening. And it also has to be said, again, because of what happens later.
Mm-hmm.
TVA is slipping. Y'all ain't got no kind of real security or training happening in there because the kid Loki just dipped.
A kid.
Just dipped easily in the middle of court.
A kid. There were other agents there.
In the middle of variant court. It just did.
It wasn't just Ravonna. There were other agents there. How y'all let that happen?
They didn't even run up on her. They were just
Jesus Christ.
Like, they just sat there like, wow.
And that happened. And now you've been chasing her for centuries, if not...
Yeah, I'll tell you, y'all got to get it together, man. Like, and y'all talking about, we got to put faith in you? Man, y'all messing up. Y'all stay messing up. Y'all stay messing up.
Not a good look. And it's also not a good look to pick up kids, because from what I've seen, okay, like Loki got the Tesseract, and he wasn't supposed to be where he was because he used the Space Stone to get somewhere that he wasn't supposed to be. Y'all just snatched up this little girl for nothing, from what I've seen.
Right. I mean, in every step of the way, that from where we're at, like, that's just bad. That's never been a good thing. Snatching a kid has never been a good thing. We move from that to going back to Elementus, where both of the Lokis are kind of just spending some nice time enjoying Elementus Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking everything in before they think the world's going to collapse. There, and they're gonna finally
have a little moment. They have a little moment,
a little tender moment, perhaps.
A little tender moment, yes, sir.
Yeah, it seemed to be the case, and as we came to find out, what was happening at that tender moment in the grand scheme of things was kind of serious because the sacred timeline was not pleased with that. It was straight up about to hit a Nexus event very quickly.
A Nexus event in the form of a serpentine branch from what we know to be the sacred timeline, which no one in the TVA had seemed to have seen before, according to Mobius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then through that, they located them and brought them back in custody. And Loki is thrown. First, he talks to Morbius. They're pissed at each other. Because Loki knows stuff and Mobius doesn't. That's why he's pissed. That's literally the reason why they're angry. It's that Loki is mad because he knows things, and Mobius is mad because he doesn't.
Yeah.
And so he gets thrown into a time cell, and we see Loki get repeatedly abused.
Yeah. All I know is that was a brutal time to be trapped into. You just consistently just like stuck in a losing game of like Rochambeau.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. Apparently, that's a story from Norse mythology is that, Loki did cut off Sif's hair. I don't know about getting kicked in the balls like 30 times.
right.
But
But one would imagine Sif was definitely probably mad, and so was this one, and she let that be made very, very clear.
yeah, and so finally he gets another chance. And he talks to Mobius, tells Mobius that, everybody there is a variant, and Mobius doesn't believe him. Only to go and find out he was right. Before we get to all that, I just want to touch on how we've been saying since our first episode, episode 1 and 2 review, that Renslayer is sus. Okay?
She continues.
Renslayer has never been okay.
She
keeps harboring major secrets. It seems like not only are we talking about I feel like she knew the timekeepers were fake. That's why she tries to keep everybody away from him.
Speaking of only one to come in contact with them, got to be clear on this. If you go back and look at the past episode recaps, you will find out that your boys were right. We said in the last episode recap that you'd see the timekeepers and it'd be soon into it, and we definitely saw them within
first 5 minutes.
So just want to let you know, here, well, we're trying here. We got it with that one. Going back to Renslayer, you're absolutely right. I mean, she has been nothing but sus.
She
the
knows
whole time.
Not only did she I feel like she's aware of the timekeepers, aware of the mind wiping. We saw that she had a number before she had a name.
Yep.
Before she got promoted to judge. And the way she talks to Morbius, I feel like not only is she trying to keep the agents from the timekeepers, but I feel like she knows something about Morbius that he doesn't know about himself. I really do feel that way. With the end of what we know at the end of the episode, is he gone? I hope not, because if we don't see a jet ski, if we don't see Mobius on a jet ski by the end of episode 6, I'm giving the show a 4 out of 10. I don't care how good it gets from here.
You had better find a way to give Mobius the jet ski.
You have been warned.
Look, I mean, he already did.
Marvel?
But look what you done put him through.
Kevin?
Look what you done put him through. Come on.
Kevin?
I was like, Renslayer is, she's definitely the ones that, from what we've seen so far on screen, from on-screen characters, what we've seen so far, she's the one that seems to be holding the most cards, and she's keeping them close between lying to Mobius, but yet to an extent trying to keep him as insulated as possible.
Yeah.
From it, with also going back to the interaction between Renslayer and Slylvie in the episode.
Yeah.
Where Slylvie asked, why was I brought in? What crime had I committed, and all that. And Renslayer says she doesn't remember.
We don't believe that.
I just straight up, we don't really believe that here. Somebody like Renslayer, I definitely believe she knows the answer. Obviously, something else has to be in play. This is the spot where we're saying that Kang.
Renslayer low down for lying about C20. I don't know if C20 is actually dead or not, but even with what we found out, I don't know if she was just still telling the truth about C20 because we don't know her to tell the truth like that. They get almost apprehended, brought before the timekeepers, and it is still Caleb. One more time, can we tell them? Can we talk about this? Can we?
Yeah, we can ping, and even though I got to say it really, really, really pains me to say it, but the TVA needs help. The TVA needs desperate help. Can anybody teach them a martial art of some sort? Perhaps do Glocks work at the TVA? You can maybe add that in addition to into the Zappy baton. But they proceed to yet again get bodied in the room with in front of the timekeepers and Renslayer, who are just these two Loki variants who only get one sword. Shout out to Hunter B-15.
I'm glad she's awake.
Hunter B-15, she woke now. She has seen the light, or should we say she's seen her past life.
She feels so bad for calling them the V word so many times like that.
She really is, man. She was been treating them so bad, and she comes through. She tosses them the sword, but two of them, one sword, and they took everybody down. And then, I mean, she smacked the timekeeper's head off. Yeah, basically. But I just want to say, was it not funny? Was it not funny to see the androids try to reason? Like,
Jesus.
Wait, let's talk about this.
They really did try. She said, "Well, we're not afraid of you," and she said, "No, I don't believe that. I didn't either."
Oh man, it was a ridiculous
and it wasn't
moment.
Nothing. It was very unceremonious how she just lobbed off dude's head.
It kind of felt needed.
It wasn't necessary.
It kind of felt needed. You felt a little vindication in that moment, because all of us were still at that point dealing with the reality that our boy Mobius got pruned. I was not prepared.
Y'all were listening to me when I say y'all better bring my dude back and give him a jet ski.
You felt a little good about seeing the timekeeper's head pop off.
Yeah,
it helped a little bit with the pain of Mobius getting
so zapped. when we saw that, we saw they were not real. The Wizard of Oz theory about the timekeepers being unreal is false, which means that we can't take any word now from a TVA whatsoever, especially not Miss Minutes, who we didn't see once in this episode. Yep. And we also can't take the word of any of their propaganda. So that means that cartoon, out the window.
Yep, it's all a house of lies.
If we're still listening, if we're still looking at the Nexus event theories and from the explanation of that, okay. But for the most part, that cartoon and what it said about old stuff, if it's setting up Secret War, it might be part truth, part lie. But we know that this is not the case. And so now this goes back to a theory we made in an earlier video. What I'm saying is it's got to do a lot with Kang. It has to do a lot with Kang the Conqueror because the narrative wouldn't fit on this episode with that reveal, wouldn't fit so much around Renslayer.
Right. A character that, again, is just so highly connected to
his love interest.
Right.
And we also know that they like to put Jonathan Majors, who's been cast as Kang the Conqueror, on screen with light-skinned women. We saw Lovecraft Country. They do this.
They do
this.
Speaking
of which, we don't know if Hunter B-15 is a variant of herself from Lovecraft Country.
Could be.
We don't know if Ravenna Renslayer is a variant of herself from that movie where Keanu Reeves is a lawyer and she's his assistant.
Yeah.
We don't know that. So
Casey's still Pillboy. There you go.
Now we don't know. We literally don't know at the end of this episode 4.
Anything could be possible.
Because as we saw, our boy, this Loki, got clapped.
He got clapped, man. He got
by Renslayer, dirty ass.
Got pruned straight in the back right before he was trying to go on and give his little heartfelt testimony. Mm-hmm. He was about to try and profess some love up in there, and he got pruned. He got pruned for it because he wasn't paying attention. Basically, wasn't nobody paying attention.
And we had to watch that sad ass song in them credits.
And it sure was sad. But at this point, I think we have to take a moment to try to talk about how we kind of feel about the insertion of this romantic plot, like love angle.
Okay,
here.
Let's do that.
Now, I mean, for me personally, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of it. I feel like there's other ways you could have gotten this done. Doing the romance thing feels easy, but I don't know. Maybe I could be looking at it wrong. If you agree with me, or holler at us, let us know in the comments, or if you feel differently. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Just tell us. So what I believe is that this goes back to things that have been said. Little coded language that sort of made me think that Mobius was a Loki variant. Which, by the way, that theory is blown wide open now because everybody's a variant of some sort, so it's hard to tell who's who and what is what at this point in the game. So what I believe is that Loki falling for Sylvie and Sylvie falling for Loki, and that creating a Nexus event so strong that they could locate them in an apocalypse, because they're not supposed to be able to do that. I think that speaks to Loki because he admitted that he was a narcissist, that he lacked self-love, and that he craved attention because he didn't give it to himself. And I think that this time he got that by falling in love with a version of himself. But him being with another Loki variant is still technically him in a version being alone. Like they said, like, you will always be alone. So him always being with Sylvie, a version of himself, her with a version of herself, that's still them kind of being alone.
Dang, bro. That's some Yeah, that's some low-key, like, psychological analysis you got there, bro. I don't know.
He lacked self-love. He was always like, trying to seek validation. And I think he got it from himself by falling in love with, in essence, himself.
I don't know, man. You know what? I feel like that theory's got some legs, man. I kind of see what you're saying.
I like to think of it that way because it seems much less incestual that way. If it seems self-lovish.
True. And, self-lovish, multi-dimensional is complicated. Yeah. We don't even know how that's going to go. Because again, he got pruned. We think he's gone. The sad credits are playing. You're sitting here getting ready to cry and play Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Man.
And then, boom, we get the end scene credit. Loki wakes up and he is greeted by a squad of Lokis.
Look like a mean squad of Lokis too. We see 4. We saw one who was so we got Richard E. Gant, who has a very recognizable voice. When Loki woke up, you could tell it was him. And so we see him in the classic Loki costume, comic book accurate than a mug.
Yep. Then we also see
Kid Loki. Which is also in a comic book accurate costume, which is fresh. I don't know about any alligator Lokis, but we did see one, and we saw a dark-skinned man with bald hair who looked sort of like one of the Loki variants that was shown to us in episode 2.
Right, but not only that, gotta look at the details.
He was listed as boastful Loki.
But also, if you look, he's listed as you see him. Man's got a hammer.
Yeah, he's got what appears to be a version of Mjolnir.
So could we also be looking at a worthy Loki?
Yeah, a Loki who was a king. Because, Thor's boastful, too. So he might be a version of Loki that's more like Thor. A strong Loki. Because he's holding the hammer.
Yeah. Holding it firmly.
And we don't really see hammers like that in the MCU.
Right. I'm definitely trying to see what that's talking about.
We've only really seen 2.
Yeah, not a thing you see a lot of.
And we also noticed that we are in what seems to be a post-apocalyptic New York, because behind them on the right, over there by Richard E. Gant's classic Loki, we see a ruined Avengers Tower.
Man, I was like, man, possibly, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of being one of those weird Marvel What If comics.
Yeah, it looks like we're there in a Marvel What If
perhaps
comic
perhaps this is a world where a Loki did succeed in taking over Earth. Who knows? We're not really sure.
Maybe that's that President Loki we might see. We gotta see him. That's one of the few scenes left that's in the trailers that we haven't seen yet. Sort of wrapping this episode up. I want to thank you guys for sticking with us this far and remind you to like, share, and subscribe. Holler at us in the comments if you think and feel differently. Let me know what we caught or didn't catch. Also,
please do.
Holler at us on our socials. I'm Ping. This is Caleb. He is Caleb B. Talking.
And this is Ping Rose Plays.
And sir, we are Culture Core Academy. And with that, class is dismissed.